So, Katya, I had an interesting conversation with someone who said your score is a ticking time bomb. What's your thoughts on that?
That's an interesting way to look at it, but it's absolutely true. Our credit is not anything that's tangible. It's not anything that we can see, but at any given moment, because it is so important in our lives, one mishap, one late, one collection could really, yeah,
Blow up.
blow up in your face, and the consequences
Big.
yeah, they're big. They're big consequences because if we think about what do we need credit for these days, everything from buying a home, a car, utilities, renting, they're all checking credit.
Credit.
So it's so important to just make sure that we're always checking in on it and making sure that everything is accurate and being proactive with it.
Well, tell me why it could blow up in your face so quickly.
So anything new that hits our credit report in the negative aspect really impacts our score. So for example, let's just say we have a new collection account. We're getting the calls, we're getting the notices in the mail, and we're not doing anything about it. We're ignoring them, looking the other way on them. It hits the report. Your scores can drop up to 50 to 75 points. So it's a huge, huge drop. That's why I said just be proactive, know what's on there, try to resolve issues before they get to that level.
So you're talking about one late could drop 50 to 75 points overnight.
Overnight, yeah, in an instant, regardless of what else is going on, regardless if we have other trade lines, other accounts that we're paying on time, that one late will hit our credit so much
And why is that?
because that's the biggest factor in credit. When we're looking at credit, credit is about showing the bureaus, the scoring models, how do we pay back our debt? If there's anything that shows that we haven't paid it back on time or haven't paid it at all, that's what negatively impacts our credit.
And how big is that?
It's the biggest factor. 35% of your score is just based on your payment history.
Wow, 35% of your score is just payment history. So it could literally blow up if you're even, what about a late payment for a car or a credit card? Will it
Same,
have the same?
yeah, same impact. So it's just so important to pay everything on time, get ourselves on auto pay if we have sometimes struggles remembering or paying back on time. Do whatever we can to ensure there's nothing late reporting on the report.
What other factors impact your credit that could blow up?
So that's the biggest one. Our second biggest factor when we're looking at our FICO scores is our credit card balances. We can swipe on our credit card, our
Mhm.
credit card balances go up. That diminishes our score. That's 30% of our score. So about a third of our score is just based on our credit card balances. We hear a lot of times during the holidays that, my scores just went down so much. Well, it's typically because we've used our credit card so much.
And overnight, again, within, when the creditors report the high balance, your credit drops.
Yep. Yep.
What other factors impact your credit? I mean, Rob already told us 30%, 35%, that's 65% of your score is impacted simply because of late payments or payment history and your credit utilization.
Yeah, that those are the two biggest ones. We have five factors in the FICO scoring model, but those are the ones that matter the most. We also have the average age of credit. The longer we have accounts open, the more payment history we accumulate, the better our credit is going to be. This is important because if we close down a credit card,
Mhm.
that impacts the average age of credit history that we have. So closing down credit cards, whether we as a consumer do it or the bank closes it, for credit closes closed. They don't care who does it, but that really does take a hit, especially if you've had credit cards open for long periods of time. That can definitely impact the credit scores.
That's another big bomb
Big one, yeah.
overnight.
Oh,
Overnight. Well, I look at it, and also it's not only the length that you've had the credit card, but also it could affect your utilization, right? I mean, you have a card that you're not using, but it has a great balance, and all of a sudden they closed it and it increased your utilization on all the other credit cards overall.
mhm. It's multifaceted, right? When we're looking at one action, we always want to look at how is this impacting and touching upon the five factors, because
Mhm.
there is such a it's such a unique way to look at credit that it can impact us many different ways that we don't
Yeah.
realize sometimes. One small action, whether we think, I don't want this credit card anymore, I never use it, let me just close it. Or sometimes I hear people get upset with either the customer service or something happened with the account and they get annoyed and they just close the credit card. They don't realize what impact that's going to have on their credit profile long term.
Again, one little thing that you think is not that important really could change the score overnight, your credit score overnight.
Yeah, absolutely. So important.
What other factors impact your credit?
Mixture of credit. That
Mhm.
mixture of credit means essentially having different types of accounts open. Traditionally, we have two types of accounts that hit our report. We have our loans and we have our credit cards. Ideally, you want to have at least one of each type of account on the credit report because they measure different things. They're looked upon differently from the perspective of the bureau. So it's good to have both. And then we have inquiries. Every time we have our credit pulled, when we're looking for a line of credit, whether it's a loan, whether it's a credit card, that's going to impact our credit. Not a lot, not a lot, but if you get enough of those, it definitely can do damage to your credit score.
So again, small little things that could blow up in your face if you do either not make a payment or have a lot of inquiries all within 1 month.
Yeah. They sometimes the inquiries can add up and it can have the same effect as a late payment.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
And I know we've seen clients like that. They've had like 20 inquiries, and all of a sudden their score, what, dropped almost 40 points?
Yeah, yeah. Sometimes, especially clients that or consumers that are looking for auto loans, though they're notorious for pulling credit cards. I'm sorry, credit scores left and right. You
Mhm.
can go to one dealer, but if let's say that one dealership is working with 10 banks,
All of a sudden,
they'll
you
pull
get
it
10
10 times.
inquiries.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah. Well, listen, what should we do, or what should a customer do, or even someone that's following us? How can they find out more about this information?
Well, they could always give us a call. We love to go over credit reports with our clients, just provide the education that they need to make the right choices to reach a goal, or whether sometimes we just have, a question that we may think is silly, but it really can impact you so much.
And I would love to hear if ever anyone that watches this video has experienced that, right? Can you tell us of a story where credit, 1 minute you think you're at a 750, and then the next minute it just blows up and you're in the, 500s? I would love to hear those stories and how that happened.
Yeah, I think that that's a great thing to, we're always learning from each other, right?
Mhm.
And everybody's credit is so unique and individual to each of us that there may be stories maybe that we haven't heard. We've been doing this for a long time, but I'm sure there's a lot of information out there, situations that we haven't come across yet.
So if you have one of those stories, share with us.